So again, we assemble celebrating Pujya Lalaji's birthday, 2nd Feb 2015 now at Monroe Ashram. I like to take a few quotations from Lalaji's works, one during his lifetime and one quote or a message that he gave to Babuji Maharaj in 1944. The one he addressed during his lifetime goes like this. It is from Truth Eternal. The soul of a man, the soul of a human being will be clean in proportion to the power of discrimination he possesses. I repeat, the soul of a human being will be clean in proportion to the power of discrimination he possesses. And the message that he gave, you can see the whispers of those days, 1944. 18th August 1944, Lalaji Sahab. Discriminative capacity is that by which one tries to understand the current that connects master and the devotee. This is the crux of the matter. This constitutes the definition of the most refined form of discrimination. Everything else is subordinate to this. I'll repeat again. Discriminative capacity is that by which one tries to understand the current, the flow that connects master and the devotee. This is the crux of the matter. This constitutes the definition of the most refined form of discrimination. Everything else is subordinate to this. Now, to make these 2 points clearer, I like to share with you my personal experience, my encounter with Pujya Babuji Maharaj. It was one fine morning sometime in winter. We were alone, not doing anything. He was himself. I was admiring the silence there. Suddenly he looks at me and says, "Yao," means please come here. So I sit nearby on the floor, and then he turns around like this and he scratches his hand like this. You know, in wintry days in India, you can easily scratch. It forms a line. He says, "Dekho." I say, "Yes, Babuji. This is a water canal." The other day we were talking make-believe things, so he was really doing it. "This is a water canal." I say, "Yes, Babuji." Then he says, he draws another line, and he says, "Now the 50% power going is reduced when we make a second one." And then he drew another one. Now it's further reduced. So when we form many channels in our mind, we dilute our resources, inner resources. And that's what 1944 message says. Discriminative capacity is that by which one tries to understand the current that connects master and devotee. If that channel was only for one and one alone, then it's perfect. All your resources are in one direction. To understand how important it is to maintain this one channel, I must have this discriminative faculty so enlightened. To the extent my discriminative faculty will be enlightened, to that extent my soul will remain pure, because now I am not forming more channels to spoil my condition. So the soul will remain pure. So both are justified, I think, from that little example Babuji Maharaj gave me. Very far-reaching implications from this. Now we have some certain obsessions in of modern life. Babuji was matriculated, right? Yet he could penetrate matter and see what's going on. He could see electrons, he could see protons, and so many things. He could even feel the vibrations. He could see the past lives, the future things that's going to happen. Nothing is taught in universities of this order. We are in Sahajmarg practicing from donkey's years, perhaps some of you are new, and yet we are not even able to read our own conditions. Forget others' condition or penetrating matters. We are not even able to penetrate within ourselves to see what's really happening. So where are we going wrong? Each one has to analyze all these things because we have so many dreams. My only dream in life to be a painter. People talk like that, but then what happened to your other goal? You want to merge in the ultimate also. You want to have a beautiful marriage also. You want to obedient husband also, but not loving one. We have multifarious goals, you see, and nothing can be accomplished by approaching life in such a way. See, Sahajmarg talks of only one thing: to integrate spiritual and material existence. Let there be an undercurrent of spiritual life all through, and material life is there only to support it. When we meditate, I must be able to harness the energy that is produced through meditation, my consciousness. And with that consciousness, I am out there in the market. I am in the world using that consciousness, sharpened consciousness. It is not that you are forming another channel. My focus is always spirituality, but with this spirituality and sharpened consciousness, I am using that in the material world and sharpening it further. It depends how you look at it. If you say, okay, I need to use this force or the consciousness for the success in the material world, it will happen also. It can happen. But now, the purpose is diluted, see. You want to use spiritual energy for material proliferation. But I want to use the spiritual energy in the material world to strengthen the spiritual energy itself, to sharpen my consciousness, how I can make it better against all the resistances that I can face in the world. That's why Babaji Maharaj, he keeps on saying miseries and take them as gifts, because that's where you get a chance to challenge your own resources. Otherwise, if life is all beautiful, where will you have a chance to challenge your consciousness? It will never be strengthened. Someone has given an example of the butterfly. In its evolutionary process, if you cut open its, what happens to it? The wings won't be strong enough to fly. What do they call that? Cocoon, right? So don't tamper with the cocoon and destroy the life of a butterfly. That resistance was needed so that it would struggle inside, fight it out, and become stronger in the process. So the circumstances which are created in our life by nature, we have to go through them without resistance. They are the resistance, but I must not feel that as a resistance. I must not fight with it. See? I must accept these challenges cheerfully and move on. See, if I say, okay, to hell with this, okay, fine. You have refused one challenge, another challenge. Like that, you remain in your own cocoon. You're forming your own jail and your own impression. You're forming your own circle. And you sentence yourself within your own circle. You can't blame others for that, see. Moreover, we don't learn anything out of that. from the trouble or the misery or the resistance that was there. It was supposed to teach us some lesson. We become something out of it. By denying it, we don't learn anything. And yet we suffer. Suffering will always be there. But if we accept it cheerfully, suffering won't be there. And moreover, we'll learn something out of it. So we must change our attitude altogether, see. What do I do with knowledge, for example? Oh, I became so and so. What do you do with this knowledge? When life is all fine, why am I trying to acquire more and more knowledge? What is the purpose? It's fine that you need a livelihood, or you acquire certain technical know-how of computer, become a doctor, a pharmacist, whatever, or become a carpenter or a painter. These are all things which are good for your livelihood, see. It's okay. But there should be some end to it, see. When you already have all these things, why you want to be troubled with extra? It's also a burden. Forming many channels, we drown ourselves with such diluted, efforts. Nothing will be accomplished. So we have to recognize one thing only, that this flow, this current that connects me with my master, with my maker, with my destiny, it should not form channels. Otherwise, it can never take up. Yesterday, I gave an example of our past lives, or our past in this life itself. It is oceanic in nature. It is so great and so huge with such a magnificent power. It is difficult to escape the trap of our past. And the present is trying to come up like a wave on the ocean. It is so tiny. The future is nothing. There is no water in sight of the future. We are creating waves after waves, but then they are pulled back into the ocean based on our past and our likes and dislikes. So the idea of creating one current is to create such a wave in our life that we engulf the entire ocean and become that mighty. And wherever it goes, it becomes the future, see. It creates its own path. If you look at it from a different perspective, if I form many channels, it is like juggling with multiple balls. If you have one ball in hand, you can go on playing without dropping it. You have two, slightly difficult. Right? You have three, there are quite smart people who can do it, but most of us will fail in handling three at a time. And we have four, you're gone. But our mind has infinite. I mean, you look at something, oh, that tree is good. It needs a bit of trimming. Immediately, you want to solve the problem of the tree also. So, multiple things creates a disorder. And in science, if you study the second law of thermodynamics, where they talk of entropy, entropy is all about measure of disorder. Our life is full of disorder, see. And each time we want to bring it about into an orderly fashion. More energy input is required each time. And we pray like hell to Master, please, more transmission, more energy input from his side so that my life can be in order. But it cannot. More and more energy comes, and my disorderly life will become even more chaotic with the incoming energy. If I'm not disciplined, see, if I do not have discriminative faculty, well enlightened, see. Otherwise, I'll have more channels. Oh, I want liberation. I want to read past lives. I want to read future lives. I want to read or receive Babaji's messages. There are fanciful things in spiritual world also. All this energy will translate into something. If it is not utilized to create an order in my life, minimum things is the best things. A minimalistic approach in life. See. Energy input. The least amount of energy that a system requires is the most stable system. Look at children's bedrooms and study room, for example. Even though they have tons of books, we become so happy, but the way they are placed, the way they throw their clothes around and towels and toys, from 1 cat to 10 cats in the house, it's difficult to maintain. Mother has to come or father has to come and help them to arrange all these books and clothes and put them in order. It requires tremendous effort. In a chaotic life of a family, what is the solution then, see? Where all the time I had to use my energy, convince, oh, you don't need this, honey, oh, you don't need that, please, let's live without it. Each time you have to convince. It's waste. I would not say waste of energy, but there is constant input and you get fed up of it. How many times? That's why Lalaji says, more discriminative faculty a person has, to that extent, his soul will be cleaner. Discrimination means what? What is good, what is bad, what is harmful, what is useful. I must be able to discriminate between good and bad, harmful and useful, evolutionary and not evolutionary thing in my life. Should I paint or should I go and eat? Everyone has their own answer. Find their own answer. Should I meditate or go with my friends to pub? I have time to meditate or should I go do something else? Do I read or meditate? So energy input, lesser the input, the best system it is. Even in a family environment, even with my relationship with Master, if there is love, in family also, if there is love, then the energy input required is zero. I don't have to convince anyone in my house, oh, I came late from work. Do I need to explain? When love is there, family would understand something must have held me up. But in a chaotic, disturbed family, you need explanations. Why the hell didn't you phone me up? Why didn't you tell me you were held up for such and such a thing? Where were you? Show me the proof. So where there is no love, there is chaos. And the simplest solution, again, yesterday we were talking to youth, more and more of less and less. And I tried to explain this with a mathematical formula, right? Happiness is equivalent to numbers of desires fulfilled divided by total numbers of desires. And if you want percentage, multiply it by 100. If 5 desires are fulfilled out of 10, multiplied by 100, so happiness is 50%. Right? 10 out of 10 is 100%. And 10 out of 0 desire is infinity. That's why our second line of prayer, we are yet but slaves of wishes. Imagine without these wishes how our life can be. Even the idea of merger and this and that. When we surrender everything to Master, let it be whatever it be. Earlier, it used to be my ball and my game and my bat. See? Now we surrender everything. Game is yours, boss. You play the way you want it. I'm just witnessing it. Then there will be a lot of fun seeing it. Because you have no concept of losing or winning. Either way, you are together with your beloved. The other day, we talked about Khusro, his beautiful couplet, Khusro Baji Prem Ki, मैं खेली पिया के संग, जीती तो पिया मेरे, हारी तो मैं पिया के संग. Meaning, I spent my all night with my beloved, gambling. The gamble was such that when I win, he is mine. When I lose, I'm his. In any situation, we are together. So who is losing and winning? It's the same thing here. Whether I surrender to Master or Master surrenders to me, how does it matter? We are together. And Master told me once in this life of gamble in spirituality, that Master is ever willing, ever ready, ever restless to lose himself completely and give everything to us. He's not waiting to win things, he's waiting to lose everything that he has and give us. So, at the end of this, what little thing I had to share with you, sums down to only one thing. Have one channel, one connection with Master, that's all. The rest of the things are to support and to strengthen this channel. If anything else is going to dilute my efforts, or dilute or weaken my connection with my Master, I should stop it. That's the wisdom. And to recognize this, I must be able to discriminate things properly. That's why this viveka, discrimination, the very first step of sadhana chatushtaya, as per our Babuji's remarks in one of the chapters in Reality at Dawn, the very first step in spirituality is discrimination. To know what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what is beneficial, what is useless, what is evolutionary, what is not evolutionary for me. I must have that discriminating faculty so well awakened, see. Right from the beginning. Before making any critical decision, meditate over it, see. Even when Master says this, do this, use your wisdom. That's what Babuji Maharaj told our Master, that even when I give you some advice, make sure in your heart that it is right. So ultimately, everything boils down to our heart, our decision, my decision. See? Even though we have surrendered everything to Him, the eclipse has not happened, the merger has not happened. Otherwise, He doesn't have to speak to guide us. He thinks and I feel it. Many a times, you read in autobiography of Babuji Maharaj, see, where Lalaji says, it is very difficult for me to hide my thoughts and feelings from you. And he is speaking from the brighter world. See? He's not face to face. It's the soul who is communicating with Babuji Maharaj. See? Because Babuji Maharaj was so sensitive that even before his master, Lalaji Maharaj, could complete a sentence, he has grasped everything. See? While amongst us, Master speaks and gives us the whole entire talk, and yet we can't get the gist of it. See? That is our misfortune, because we lack sensitivity, we lack discrimination, because we have too many channels and too many desires. So, simplify it. See? That's why this insistence on simplification of life. Everything must be simplified. Do I really need this? If I don't need this, just forget about it. My life does not depend on such a thing. And everything's are within Sahaj Marg. I mean, solutions are there. See? How to bring about simplicity? People ask, oh, how can I lead a simple life? Do the cleaning. When we make a suggestion that all complexities are going, when complexities are gone, automatically what has to happen will happen. Simplicity. So we have the solution within our reach, but we cannot even pretend properly. How can we do the real thing properly? And another one is creating purity. There also we have this sankalpa or a suggestion that impurities are going away from the backside in the form of smoke or vapor. When impurities are gone, what remains is purity. So with the simplicity and purity in place, in my hand's reach, everything is available then, see. Then we don't have to look around for master outside us. The purity is within me. He comes looking for us, then, see. So let's get going properly with Sahaj Marg and how we accept this practice. Forget the master. You need not accept masters. Accept the practice and at least do it properly. Then we shall see where it takes us. Accept the transmission. Accept his help. You need not accept master. I mean, who can talk like this in Sahaj Marg or in the world today, that you have to accept Guru or don't accept Guru? Here, belief, trust, surrender, love, we don't say it is a must. You start with yourself. You believe in yourself. You trust in yourself. Trust outside us, it's not required. It's useless. Okay, I think that's all right.